Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tomasz Zubielewicz, and I'd like to invite you into a discussion about the kind of natural hazards Poland is exposed to and how we can prepare and protect ourselves against them. My guests are Mrs. Barbara Monka, Director of the Regional Water Management Board, Professor Andrzej Tiłkało, and Mr. Jakub Giza. Let us now proceed to our topic. What kind of extraordinary threat is Poland exposed to? There are numerous natural hazards. To start with, there are storms, hurricanes and torrential rain, all the way through to heat waves and severe cold spells. But there is also phenomena such as fog and hoarfrost. Naturally, of these, the most significant are torrential rain and widespread flooding. It was indeed flooding that over the past 20 years has had the most significant impact on citizens. Flooding is always associated with the greatest possible level of danger. Since we are on the subject of flooding, let's take a look at the tragic consequences of flooding over the past 2 decades. Over the past 20 years, the biggest floods have occurred in the years 1997 and 2010. In 1997, an area of approximately 5,000 square kilometers housing over 12,000 businesses and institutions was flooded. 3,900 buildings were destroyed, 56 people were killed, and the losses have been estimated at 12 billion Polish zloty. In turn, in 2010, an area covering 25% of all regions in Poland was flooded. 266,000 people were affected. 400 kilometers of railways and 80,000 kilometers of provincial, county and municipal roads had to be repaired, and the losses have been estimated at some 14 billion Polish zloty. As a director, how in your opinion can we protect ourselves against flooding? In Poland, we are currently at the stage of implementing a flood directive. We have created flood hazard maps and flood risk maps which indicate certain areas exposed to the threat of flooding. How can we protect ourselves? On the one hand, we can redirect the flooding and the river away from the people. And on the other hand, we can take the people away from the river and the flood, or simply learn how to live with the flood. Now I would like to discuss the subject of Project ISOK, IT system of the country's protection against extreme hazards. What is ISOK? Well, it is of course a project. A project which is focused on achieving a certain state, a state in which society is prepared to adapt their collective knowledge and experience to rationally react to natural threats. This is the aim of several institutions. In terms of ISOK, this is exactly 5 institutions. A consortium of government institutions was established. With the help of aerial laser scanning technology, over 90% of the country's total area has been scanned. And thanks to this, we have an exact model showing the topography, all buildings as well as vegetation within this area. Since we know that the strategy is already developed and that the consortium has already taken a specific course of action, we should now consider to whom this project is in fact directed. The project is directed to each and every citizen of our country. It is an excellent tool for managing risk and enabling decision-making via government institutions and centers of crisis management in times of flooding. Since this is directed to the nation as a whole, let us be aware how important the issue is to the people of Poland. Would you look for information regarding the threat of flooding in a specific area? I would certainly look somewhere. Okay, but where? Perhaps on the internet. I don't know where precisely. I believe there is a website for the Institute of Meteorology and Water Management. They are able to give you some information. And of course, information about the weather. We live in the era of the internet. It is enough to simply type in a place name and the word flood. How would you say ISOK works in practice? The most straightforward example is if, for instance, you wanted to buy a house or build one on a plot of land you have acquired. Thanks to ISOK, you can check if a specific location is within an area that may potentially flood within the next few years. It is worth remembering that all data can be used for different purposes. For planners, this is definitely a tool for planners. Designated areas which are threatened by flooding are given limited possibilities for building on and should be considered in wider spatial development plans. I will say goodbye to you now. But first, let's sum up all of this information. ISOK is the IT system of the country's protection against extreme hazards. This project is nationwide. Thanks to this, Poland is acting in accordance with EU directives, Flooding and Inspire. The project contributes to the growth of the usage of information technology and communication and aligning Poland with the EU. To make this project happen, a consortium was established consisting of government institutions and institutes of science. ISOK creates the tools to support the crisis management system. ISOK users are public administrators, citizens, companies and emergency services, including the fire service and police. More information on this project can be found by visiting www.isok.gov.pl/en.